Britain is our home. It's not a hotel.
Okay.
We need to change the way our immigration system works. So I'm announcing that the Conservative Party is going to do the following things differently. 1. If you want to stay in our country permanently and apply for indefinite leave to remain, the time you have to live here before you apply will increase from 5 years to 10 years. Two, you will have to be a net contributor with a high enough salary, especially if you want to bring family members with you.
Okay.
And if you've got a criminal record, you're banned. 3, if you've claimed benefits or need social housing, you can't even apply. 4, we will increase the time before you can apply for a British passport from 12 months to 5 years, meaning it will take a minimum of 15 years to start an application.
Okay.
5, if you enter this country illegally or outstay your visa, you will be banned from ever gaining leave to remain or a passport. These changes, on top of a strict numerical cap on numbers, will constitute the most robust changes ever made to our immigration system. Lower numbers, secure borders, and an immigration system that finally works for the British people.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be delving into a very important topic that's been making significant rounds or waves in the UK political landscape, and that's Kemi Badenoch's proposed plan to reform the immigration system in the UK. As the leader of the Conservative Party, Badenoch has introduced a series of measures aimed at overhauling the immigration system in the UK, and in this video I'll be sharing my reactions and breaking down the proposals and discussing potential implications. Badenoch's plans include several key components. The first component is extended residence requirement. So this involves increasing the period before immigrants can apply for indefinite leave to remain from 5 years to now 10 years. And 2, delayed citizenship eligibility, extending the wait time to apply for British citizenship from the current 6 years to 15 years. And 3, economic contribution criteria. Only migrants who are net contributors to the economy will be eligible to apply for indefinite leave to remain. And 4, benefit restrictions. Migrants who have claimed benefits or used social housing will be disqualified from obtaining residence permit or permanent residency. And then 0 tolerance on criminal record. Any migrants with criminal record would be banned from obtaining residency. This proposal represents a significant shift in the UK's immigration system, and throughout this video we'll delve deeper into each of these components, analyze the potential impact, and consider the broader context in which these changes are being proposed. So let's get right into the video. So the first component is the extended residency requirements. And in this component, Kemi Badenoch's proposal is to extend the residency requirement from immigration from 5 years to 10 years before they can apply for indefinite leave to remain, which marks a significant shift in the UK's immigration policy. And this change aims to ensure that those seeking permanent residency have a prolonged period to demonstrate their commitment and contribution to British society. However, this extension raises several concerns regarding its impact on immigrants' integration and sense of belonging. Prolonging the residency requirement may delay immigrants' full participation in civic life, potentially hindering their integration into local communities. The extended period could also affect immigrants' stability, as the uncertainty of their long-term status might influence their personal and professional decisions. So critics argue that the policy could exacerbate labor shortages in essential sectors which heavily rely on migrant workers, such as healthcare, social care, and construction. And according to the Office for National Statistics, 20% of NHS staff are foreign-born, and 40% of adult social care workers come from overseas, and 1 in 4 construction workers are immigrants or migrant workers. So extending the resident requirement might deter potential migrants from filling these crucial roles, thereby impacting the delivery of financial or vital services. Furthermore, there's a debate about whether this policy effectively addresses the issues within the immigration system. Some suggest that focusing on stricter residency requirements for legal immigrants does little to tackle immigration and may instead penalize those who are already contributing positively to the society. In conclusion, while the intention behind extending the residency requirement is to ensure a deeper commitment to the UK before granting permanent residency, it's essential to carefully consider the broader implications. Policy makers must weigh the potential benefits against the risks of hammering integration efforts and exacerbating labor shortages in critical sectors. A balanced approach that addresses both the need for controlled immigration and contributions of immigrants to society is crucial for the UK's social and economic well-being. The next key component of the proposal is delayed citizenship eligibility, and Kemi Badenoch's proposal aims to extend the waiting period for immigrants to apply for British citizenship from the current 6 years to 15 years, which represents a substantial policy shift. The change will significantly lengthen the pathway to full citizenship, affecting many individuals seeking to solidify their status in the UK. This proposal has faced considerable criticism. A recent Focal data survey indicates that fewer than 1 in 10 people support the 15-year threshold, with more than half of the respondents believing that citizenship should be available for after 5 years or less. This data suggests that public sentiment does not align with the proposed extension, highlighting a potential disconnect between the policy initiatives and the public opinion. The extended timeline could have several implications. For immigrants, a longer wait for citizenship may delay the full integration into society, affecting their sense of belonging and limiting their ability to participate fully in civic duties, such as voting. Additionally, this prolonged period of uncertainty could impact their economic contributions, as well as stability often encourages greater investment in communities and local economics. Critics argue that such lengthy requirements may deter skilled workers from choosing the UK as their destination, potentially exacerbating labor shortages in critical sectors. The extended pathway to citizenship could make the UK less attractive compared to other countries with shorter naturalization periods, thereby affecting the nation's competitiveness in global talent market. Supporters of the proposal might argue that a longer residency period ensures a deeper commitment to the country before granting citizenship. They may believe that this extended period allows citizens or immigrants to fully assimilate and demonstrate their dedication to the UK's values and society. However, it's essential to balance the desire for thorough integration with practicalities of attracting and retaining global talent. Policymakers must consider whether such an extension serves the nation's interest or if it inadvertently creates barriers that hinder the contributions of potential citizens. The next key component of Kemi Badenoch's immigration plans is the economic contribution criteria. And Kemi Badenoch proposed immigration policy which introduces a requirement that migrants must be net contributors to the economy to be eligible for permanent residency. This approach aims to ensure that immigrants add tangible economic value to the country. However, determining what constitutes a net contributor can be complex and may overlook the diverse ways immigrants enrich society beyond mere economic metrics. The concept of net economic contributor typically involves an individual paying more in taxes than they receive in public services and benefits. While this seems straightforward, calculating it accurately is challenging due to its variables like income levels, family size, and the use of public services. For instance, an analysis suggests that immigrants will need to earn an average of £28,000 per year to be considered net contributors under the policy. However, this figure can vary depending on specific circumstances and regional cost of living differences. Critics argue that focusing solely on economic matrices fails to counter for the broader contributions immigrants make to the society. Immigrants often take on essential roles in sectors facing labor shortages such as healthcare, agriculture, and technology. Their cultural contributions enrich communities, fostering diversity and innovation. Moreover, immigrants contribute to the economy not just through taxes but also by starting businesses, creating jobs, and stimulating demand for goods and services. Research indicates that immigrants can have a positive fiscal impact over their lifestyles, contributing more in taxes than they consume in public benefits. However, these contributions are not always immediately apparent and can vary based on factors like age, education, and employment opportunities. Therefore, a policy that strictly defines eligibility based on immediate net economic contribution might exclude individuals who have the potential to make significant long-term contributions. Additionally, implementing such a criterion raises practical challenges. Accurately assessing an individual's net contribution requires comprehensive data and sophisticated modeling, which can be resource intensive and subject to inaccuracies. There's also the risk of creating a entire society where only those who meet certain economic thresholds are granted the opportunity to settle permanently, potentially undermining social cohesion. In conclusion, while the intention behind the economic contribution criteria is to ensure that immigrants positively impact the economy, it's crucial to adopt a holistic perspective, recognizing the multifaceted ways immigrants contribute to society economically, culturally, and socially is essential for creating fair and effective immigration policies. Another key component of Kemi Badenoch's UK immigration policy include benefit restrictions. So Kemi Badenoch's proposed immigration policy includes a provision that would disqualify migrants who have claimed benefits or use social housing from obtaining permanent residency in the UK. This measure aims to encourage self-sufficiency among immigrants by ensuring that only those who have not relied on public assistance are eligible for indefinite leave to remain. While the intention behind this policy is to promote economic independence, it raises several concerns, both practical and ethical. One significant issue is the potential disproportionate impact on vulnerable individuals who may require temporary assistance due to unforeseen circumstances such as job loss, health issues, or other emergencies. By penalizing those who have access benefits of social housing, the policy could deter immigrants from seeking necessary support, potentially exacerbating their hardship and hindering successful integration into society. Moreover, the policy may overlook the complexities of individual situations. For instance, immigrants working in low-wage yet essential sectors might struggle to meet basic living expenses without temporary assistance. Disqualifying these individuals from permanent residence see could lead to labor shortages in critical industries and undermine the social fabric by marginalizing those who contribute to the community in non-economic ways. Critics argue that such restrictions could create a third tiered society where immigrants are discouraged from accessing support systems available to other residents, leading to increased inequality and social exclusion. They also point out that the policy may not account for the long-term economic contributions of immigrants who, despite needing temporary assistance, go to become net contributors through taxes and community involvement. Conclusion: while the goal of fostering self-reliance among immigrants is understandable, implementing benefit restrictions as a criteria for permanent residency raises ethical questions about equity and support for vulnerable populations. Policymakers must carefully consider these implications to ensure the immigration policies promote both economic contributions and the well-being of members of the society. Last key component for Kemi Badenoch's UK immigration policies include zero tolerance on criminal records. And Kemi Badenoch proposed immigration policy includes a provision that would bar any migrant with a criminal record from obtaining permanent residency in the UK. This strict stance on legal compliance aims to enhance public safety and uphold the integrity of the immigration system. However, it's essential to consider the nature and context of offenses to ensure fair treatment and the possibility of rehabilitation. Current immigration rules, the impact of criminal record on residents' applications depends on the severity and the recency of the offense. For instance, applicants sentenced to imprisonment of 4 years or more are typically refused indefinite leave to remain. Those with shorter sentences face varying periods before they become eligible to apply. Badenoch's zero tolerance proposal would eliminate this graduated approach, imposing a blanket ban on any applicant with a criminal record, regardless of the offense's severity or circumstances. While maintaining safety is crucial, such an inflexible policy may not account for minor or non-violent offenses, raising concerns about the proportionality and the potential for undue hardship. Critics argue that this approach could undermine rehabilitation efforts as individuals who have served their sentences and demonstrated reformed behavior would still face permanent exclusion from residency opportunities. This could discourage regeneration and perpetuate marginalization. In conclusion, while the objective of ensuring public safety is valid, a nuanced approach that considers the nature and the context of criminal offenses may better balance security with fairness and the potential for rehabilitation. So now that we have discussed all the key components of Kemi Badenoch's UK immigration proposals, let's talk about the potential implications of if these proposals were, implemented, and how, that may change things, for the UK immigration system. So, Kemi Badenoch's proposed immigration policy aims to create a more selective system, emphasizing economic contribution and strict legal compliance. While these measures intend to safeguard national interests, they present several potential implications that warrant careful consideration. And one of it is decreased diversity. Implementing stricter immigration criteria could lead to reduced diversity within the UK. A homogeneous population may limit the cultural richness that arises from varied backgrounds, perspectives, and traditions. This diversity has historically contributed to the UK's innovation, creativity, and global appeal. A less diverse society might miss out on these multifaceted benefits, potentially impacting social cohesion and the nation's cultural nationalism. Another potential implication is the challenges in filling essential jobs. The emphasis on economic contribution may inadvertently outlook immigrants who take an essential yet lower paying roles such as healthcare, agriculture, service industries. These sectors often rely on migrant workers to function effectively. Restrictive policies could lead to labor shortages affecting the delivery of critical services and the overall economy. It's crucial to recognize the economic value isn't solely measured by income levels. The societal importance of these roles is immense. Last potential implication is balancing national interests and humanitarian values. Navigating the intersection of national interests and humanitarian values is inherently complex. While it's vital to ensure that immigration policies protect economic stability and public safety, they must be also reflect the country's ethical standards and international obligations. Achieving this balance requires nuanced policies that consider both the collective well-being and the rights of individuals. Engaging in open dialogues with diverse stakeholders can aid in formulating strategies that are both effective and just. In conclusion, while the goal of refining the immigration system to prioritize economic contribution and legal compliance is understandable, it's imperative to consider the broader implications. Policies should strive to maintain UK's cultural diversity, ensure the sustainability of essential services, uphold human rights, and thoughtfully balance national interests with humanitarian values. So in conclusion, Kemi Badenoch's immigration plan presents a bold vision for the UK's future by proposing measures such as extending resident requirements, emphasizing economic contributions, and enforcing strict legal compliance. The plan aims to reshape the nation's approach to immigration. As with any policy proposal, it's crucial to critically assess its potential benefits as well as its drawbacks. Engaging in open discussions and considering diverse perspectives will be vital as the UK navigates this complex issue. Balancing the objectives of economic growth, social cohesion, and humanitarian values requires thoughtful deliberation and inclusive dialogue. Thank you for joining me in this analysis. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video.